little Browns here with the draft less than 3 weeks away from starting. Could the Browns be in trading mode, guys? We've seen that quite a bit over the years with Andrew Berry, and he commented on it recently, Mike.
Yeah, at the NFL owners meeting, Jason, you were there, but he was asked what the Browns' plans are for the number 6 pick, and Andrew Berry said, quote, "I don't know that we're going to be picking at 6 at the end of April, and if we are picking at 6, I have no idea what position we're going to take." So, G, buy or sell the fact that less than 3 weeks out from the draft, Andrew Berry still has no idea what the Browns plan to do with that number 6 pick.
Absolutely zero. He know what he's doing. He just ain't telling you. They got an idea because they asked Todd Monken, I think it was Andrew Siciliano. He says, they talked about, hey, do you have a guy, or are you guys going to pound the concrete for someone that you want? And do you have a guy that you think is going to be some starters? And he was like, yeah, there's lots of guys. I think there's lots of guys from the top of the draft all the way to 39 where we are in the second round that I feel are good players and could be starters. Obviously, they have an idea who they want to take. Obviously, they have multiple scenarios in which if a guy is here or a trade opportunity is there, they already know the contingency plan. They're just doing a good job of doing what general managers and teams do right now. They ain't going to keep it on 1,000% with you. They need to figure out what the best move is, and they need to signal, hey, guys, we open for business. That even says, hey, I'm not even going to tell you we ain't even drafting a quarterback. We might even do that, too. If you like Ty Simpson, come on and get him. They know exactly.
Obviously, they have an idea at this point of what they're going to do. Yeah. I believe that they're not locked into one player, certainly.
Oh, no, you can't be.
But
they're too far down.
Yeah.
What's that?
They're too far down.
They're too far down, and it's, we could say all we want, got to take a wide receiver, got to take an offensive lineman. I don't know that GMs, they don't function that way, right? Like, he's thinking about who's the best player. And so if that doesn't, as a word he likes to use, align with, those positions, he may not. So I think anything's on the table. I don't think it's crazy that they'll take defense or a running back, as we talked about yesterday. I know Mike lost his mind about the idea of taking a running back. But
people agree with me, by the way. I was in the majority of how
That's
people felt about
that usually
topic.
The wrong place to be.
You're in the majority of fans agree with you?
Yep.
That's usually the wrong place to be.
You can't be feeling good about that.
I never felt better.
I called them all on the phone and said, you're going to agree with Mike this day. There you go.
Yeah. Would you be against them drafting Jeremiah Love?
No.
I don't know how you could. If you're telling me he's good, obviously there's no guarantees. But if you're telling me he's the next Bijan Robinson, I don't know how I can be against
now the reason I say no is because he's an offensive player.
Yeah.
I would prefer to get offensive players.
Everybody would.
So if he's an offense, I look at playmakers different. He's a playmaker from that position.
Yeah.
He's a playmaker you can throw out of the backfield. So as long as it's somebody that's going to help me score more points than I've been scoring, I'm cool with it. You would have to sell me a little more on a defensive player, but since last year and they took Mason Graham and passed on Travis Hunter, I was scarred. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not putting no emotion in it.
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna do, you better work out.
And Mason Graham, who still has a lot to prove to be worthy of that pick, was obviously better than Travis Hunter as a rookie.
Yes.
Travis Hunter got hurt.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the bottom line is nothing would surprise. I would be surprised if they traded up.
Oh yeah.
I would be surprised if they took a quarterback.
Yes.
Nothing else would surprise me. Certainly trading down. I think they'd love to trade down, but I don't know if anybody wants to trade up.
So I would be surprised if they said we're going to take a corner. I'd be like,
oh yeah, well, yeah.
They're not.
If they took a corner at 6, I'd be pretty shocked.
Other than that,
but if they took Sonny Styles at 6, I'll be a little surprised if they go defense. But with their track record, I wouldn't be stunned. Go ahead, Jason.
I think it's an offensive pick. Of course you'd love to trade down. I think that's the right call. I've been saying that for weeks. I think it's the right move.
Well, you'd like them to trade down later.
As far as you got to go.
Because you want another first-round pick next year.
As far as you have to go down to get a first-rounder next year.
Yeah.
And that might be jarringly far in this draft.
I just don't know. Like, who's who's somebody trading up for to give up a first-round pick next year in what is allegedly not just quarterbacks, but supposedly one of the best drafts in years?
You would have to find a team that feels very, very comfortable with their quarterback.
Yes, sure.
Trying to win a championship.
Well, that's the bottom of the first-round teams.
That's the bottom of the first-round teams.
Mostly.
Or, I mean, 22.
Yeah.
And down.
Those are teams that made the playoffs.
Yeah. And so, like, yeah, I understand that that's probably not a very popular position. But you can still get, like, this team just needs good talent. And
that's right.
You can find talent. If you can find talent at 24, you can find talent at 22. I'm just throwing a number out.
No, I know.
So if you have 22 and 24, whatever, and then you get a 1 next year and you just keep piling on talent. I just don't think that there's a team, certainly not around their vicinity, I don't think, as of now. I think you have a hard time trading down.
Yeah.
But if you can pull it off, more power to them. Congratulations.
I think I have no obviously inside information on this. Just a hunch. I think the team that they would most likely trade with, and I don't know that they would get a first-round pick next year, would be Dallas to me.
Yeah.
Because Dallas and Cincinnati all along at 10 and 12, I've said those teams are desperate for defense. The Bengals are a much more conservative team. They're unlikely to make a trade like that. Whereas the Cowboys can be very aggressive at times.
Yeah.
And so I could see that. Would you trade from 6 to 12 for a second-round pick?
This year, a 2026 second-round pick.
Yes. Is that enough?
If you go by before Jason answered, if you go by it's antiquated and old now, but the trade
chart,
value
the trade
picks
chart,
or draft pick chart, that is about the value. 12 and a second for 6 equals right in the same range.
I think what it comes down to, guys, before you answer, if you're Andrew Berry and you think the guy you could get at 6 and the guy you could get at 12 is ultimately no difference in terms of talent. Like, let's say in your mind, you're like, there's 4 elite players in here. They're all going to be gone by the time we pick.
Yeah.
Picks 6 through 20 are the same. That's a no-brainer.
Can you get Caden Proctor at 12? Because I hit Caden Proctor at 6 for some reason. For me, I'm like, man. I don't love that.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
But you got to tell me,
right.
I'm not trying to skirt it, but like, what's the board look like? Who goes 1 through 5? Who do you like? You know what I mean? It's hard to say.
If you here's where I think it gets wild and crazy is when somebody gets taken higher than you thought they would. Say Maui Noah and then Caden Proctor all go in the top. Say they go in the top 5. Then all of a sudden,
you're not gonna have 3 offensive linemen going in the top 5.
But I'm just saying if you do have 2, not Monroe Freeling. So if Maui Noah or Freeling go in the top 5, or you have a situation where like somebody takes the corner earlier than they're supposed to, or if somebody says we're taking Jordan Tyson. Then all of a sudden the board is crazy because now it's looking that's the chaos works great for the Browns at 6. If the board just falls like all these mock drafts, then you're in a no man's land. There's guys that may not be blue chip, but you think they can contribute, but they're better than the guys below you. So if you don't take them, you're going to have a dramatic drop off between what you can have in the top 5 than what you can have later on. So I think that they should really want chaos because chaos would help the Browns in teams that may get excited about going up to get a specific player.
I got the impression in Arizona that there is a sense of urgency to address the offense. I mean, that's not
that makes sense,
right?
Yeah.
But so when we talk about the ability or the possibility of taking a defensive player, I'm not going to rule it out entirely, but
unlikely.
All of the conversations I had were focused on offensive side of the ball.